I don't know what happens to our opening, John, but I do know we are let him run. Let him run. Let him
Let
run.
him run. Yeah.
Now let it run. Let him run.
All right.
Here with our Saturday afternoon show, our big show. My name is Freddie Bro York. The gentleman to my side is Mr. John Costin. What's up, John?
What's up, Fred? Beautiful day out here in the Northeast. Finally on a Saturday, got Masters going, and I'm sure you'll be over the club outside on the patio. Maybe with a cigar and a drink and a little close to the pin contest for you.
Yeah, it's a fun thing the club does. It brings out a lot of guys. You'd be surprised how many guys come out and give it a shot. It's a fun day. $10, hit 7 balls. Maybe you win $100. $100 goes to the club. Whatever, say $200 is in a pot. 100 goes to the winner. 100 goes to the club. It's kind of cool. They just put a pin out there on the soccer field for about a 75, 80 yards. Not maybe 90 at most. It's not really that far. It's funny to just see some guys hit some shots, though.
Yep. Yes, it is fun to watch them.
It is fun to watch. And before we get started, we are covering the late P5. We had a lot of success on our show yesterday with Wadey from Tampa Bay. He was on the show with us. The show was viewed quite a bit. We hope to have that happen every Friday leading up to the Derby, and we'll try and get some other individuals on as well. It was a good show. A lot of things were covered. Today, we're covering the late P5 at Keeneland. John, I think if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that you and Wadey are in a contest.
Yeah, it's the one of the big ones of the year, one of the majors that you could call it. The BCBC is the top one in the country. Then you got the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge, the Pick Your Prize at Monmouth, and now the Keeneland Grade 1 Gamble in the spring and the fall. $3,500 entry, $2,500's a live betting bankroll, which these guys take swings for the fences, and $2,500 double, and they could cash for $40,000 right off the bat, and So a lot of prize money and a lot of seats up for grabs for BCBC and NHC.
Now, what tracks does it cover?
Just Keeneland. The Grade 1 Gamble is just Keeneland, no others.
Just Keeneland.
Yep, you got to make five $400 bets minimum, and then you can bet anything you want on more or less than that. But to qualify, you have to have five $400 minimum bets in.
So $2,000 minimum, and then the other $500, do what you want.
Yep. However, you could start out with a $100 bet in the first race. It don't matter. You could bet under as long as you have your five $400 bets.
I see.
So we'll see how we manage our bankrolls.
All right. Well, let's get to the late P5 and see who we like. I'll put our picks up there, John. Our P5. Well, first, before I put them in, I'm going to hide it so that you can see our sponsors.
Let's talk about the sponsors.
Let's talk about our sponsors. Obviously, Case's Pork Roll, our good friend Tommy Dolan. We start our golf league tomorrow. The Hibernian Golf League starts tomorrow, Sunday. Very excited about that. Looking forward to getting out on the links again. And Tommy Dolan will be playing with me, myself, and a couple other guys. My son's going to be playing with me, Alex. I'm glad to see him join me. It should be fun. Going to be my return. I hope I'm not going to say return to glory. It's a little bit too much. It's just a return. Just to say I'm happy to return. We'll talk about maybe glory when we get done. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, Case's Pork Roll, Case for the taste. They certainly have the tremendous amount of local flavor here in Trenton and Hamilton and all over Mercer County and up and down the East Coast. So Case's Pork Roll is very good. Family owned and operated since 1870. Also the Vape Shop, another good friend of ours from the Hibernian Club, Alicia Pisa. The two of them, they're in Route 33 in Hamilton. Alicia Pisa's place, the Vape Shop, is on Route 33 in Hamilton for all your vaping needs. The two of those individuals and their companies have been with us from the beginning to get us started. And more recently, we had our big sponsor, Brisnet.com, allow us to make use of their products, which they have tremendous products. That's why they are called the Handicapper's Edge, because obviously if you use them, you're going to get an edge. I love their Prime Power, as John has mentioned several times. There are other factors in there that one of the races today, when we get to one of the factors that they do will come into play pretty big with some scratches. And again, John, I think it's important that we do our show. We happen to do it. The scratches come out. I think it gives us a chance to talk to our people about how the flow of the race might change, correct?
Oh, it's big time with the scratches. And I watch a lot of podcasts and guys I follow during the week on Wednesday night, Thursday night. They're doing it before the odds come out. They're doing it, just with the PPs, which is great because
Sure.
I get so much information and I take down notes and I want to pass those notes on to our listeners, whether, you believe it or not, at least, you make the decision. Like when I listen to something, I either buy into it or I'm like, okay, that's not a big deal. Just provide the information for people to make their final decisions.
Absolutely. I think I couldn't have said it better myself. We give information out. We want our viewers to absorb it. We get information from other handicappers as well, as John mentioned, and put our own thoughts on it. And we'll begin right now with the race 7 at Keeneland, $120,000 allowance, non-winners of 1, going a mile on the turf. You can see that there were, let's see, how many were there? Just one scratch, actually. My top pick, number 4, Sarah DiMarzio, scratched. I like that horse a lot. So I revised my ticket a little bit. I included the 2, 3, 6, 7. I think the 2, anytime you have and Alvarado together, you better not leave them off, especially at 6-1. The horse has not run a bad race with Alvarado aboard. Certainly the last 2 races have been very impressive. Stepping up for the first time as facing winners is always a little tough. But I think this horse certainly looks like he has the goods to do that. Out of Aleem's map, sire, I think that horse can make some noise here at 6-1. The number 3, Sicilian Defense, another horse I used when my number 4 scratched because I ran Ortiz's on. I hate to get beat. Sherry DeVoe, trainer. The horse has some skill. Last couple races has not looked too good. Basically, just ran around the track and didn't make a whole lot of move to the front, especially the last race particularly. So, going from Jose Ortiz to Irad Ortiz, maybe that makes a little difference. We'll see what happens there. Again, 8-1, don't mind that. The favorite, number 6, Arcabo, number 1, Prime Power, Flavian Pratt, Chad Brown, 8-5 morning line. Likely going to be the post-time favorite as well. I have to use him. But what's interesting is I really like the 4 because Brisnet has their ratings in terms of what type of a horse, an E, an EP, P, or a stalker, S, has a valuable chance to win. This race is biased 55% to pressers. The only 2 pressers in the race, according to Brisnet, were the number 4, Cerro DiMarzio, and I really like that horse. Of course, he scratched. And now the 6, the favorite, Arcapo, is the only other horse that has a P rating. So again, number 1, Prime Power, 55% chance with a P rating to win. That's how the races have been won on this. And I use the 7, Noble Confessor, Tyler Gaffalione. Number 2, Prime Power, changing the Gaffalione, I think, is a big plus. Has the highest last race speed rating with the number 4 who scratched. So right now, lone speed in terms of the last speed rating is the number 7, Noble Confessor. Also, I think the cutback in distance helps a little bit with this horse who does have some speed. I think certainly can get out there and hopefully Tyler Gaffalione can make something happen here. So let's put up your ticket, John. My ticket, there you go. I went over my picks. John, why don't you touch on your picks? Pretty much a lot of the same ones.
Yeah, a lot of them the same. I was thinking about using the 4 before the scratch. And the 3, I didn't have room on my ticket to fit him in, but he would definitely be the 4th ad. I mean, you're talking nothing crazy. The 4 main principles are the 2, 3, 6, 7 here. The others would really be, rank outsiders if they upset the apple cart in the first leg, just like yesterday's pick 5. What did that 35 to 1 shot win the first leg and knock most people out. So, it happens at Keeneland all the time, and that's why they got carryovers. But Lover Merlium, definitely, using him might be my top pick in there for, Mop and Alvarado. The 6, I'm kind of down. I'm, kind of against. When I looked at, Saratoga, June 6th, his first start, Chad Brown and Franco, 22-1. He debuts at Saratoga. Then they lay him up for, months, something, he finished 2nd. Then he comes back and finishes 2nd or 5th to Pitkin, who was also eligible for the Maker's Mark yesterday. And then he goes to Tampa on a Friday at Tampa, and he's 1-2 against a overmatched field of all, maiden claimers. So he's supposed to do that. So what he beat is not much. Now he's taking on olders for the first time, taking on winners for the first time at those even money. He may be that good, but I'm not willing to, lean on him that much, and I'm going to try to beat him. Noble Confessor would be now looking through the prominent, almost alone speed in here. And that last race, first time back off the, freshening, 45 and change they went. He ran against Pitkin in that race. So he was expected to tire a little bit. It was just wicked fast pace. But he's only 1 for 11, and I just don't like those. This is the owners of one other than, so they're all in the same boat. But a 1 for 11,
Sure.
He ran in some good races. I got to use him because he could be the speed, the 6 if he is any good. I mean, the fields. I was trying to bet against him, but I don't love anybody against him. So maybe I'll make the 2 my key, 7 on the front end, and the 6 if he's any good. Try to fade the 3 here just for ticket purposes. But if you got a budget, make sure you include the 3. Just like Fred started. Okay. Moving on to the 8th race. Maiden special weight here. I didn't see Fred's ticket yet, but you could either easily lean on the 3 for sure as a possible single here, or you could go really deep. If it's not him, you could use a bunch of them. I opted for the route to use a bunch of them, try to get a little chaos early in the ticket, and then be formful late towards the end in order for me to hit it. So, I used as many as I could afford here. The 2 first-time starter for Ian Wilkes. It's a half to You'll Be Back, who's a stakes, winning horse. So the mother's bloodline's okay. Right timing, absolutely, it was a nice first race. They drew clear 9 lengths on the field, 80 cents on a dollar, and he was really green in that. But the problem is that race, all 4 that were behind him have came back, and none of them improved their speed figures. They all stayed where they were. So it goes to tell you that behind him was not much. It's not a key race.
Sure.
I got to throw the 4 in, first-time starter, working out really good. And he was working out good as a 2-year-old last year, and then something happened. He was entered in a race, and he scratched. He was 8-1 morning line on a race at Keeneland in the fall. Scratched out. They regrouped. And then look at that series of 5 works in a row. I don't know why he's 20-1, but, if he was 8-1 in Keeneland in the fall, now all of a sudden he's 20-1. I got to throw him in. She's our 10, definitely, had a little bit of a rough trip there. And the first-time starter, Fred's using the 10, Resolute Racing. The mother won her debut. A couple bullet workouts there. Great first-time starting trainer, Bill Walden. And the 12 I got to throw in as the Majestical. Just ran in the Rachel Alexander. Was at it Fairgrounds, I think, like last week. That race produced 3 next out winners. So definitely a key race as opposed to the 3, which is a opposite of a key race. So the 12 is coming out of that. So use as many as you can afford here. Fred, why do you narrow down on those 2?
That's a good point, John. I mean, I may adjust my ticket a little bit. I love the 10, first of all. I mean, there's 5 first-time starters in the race. There's no scratches in the race, so it's a big field of 12. I think a little experience helps. Again, I like Flavian Pratt on the horse who stays on his number 1 prime power. That has some value to me. So that's why I kind of went a little bit narrow here at 3 and the 10. I really like the 10 as a first-time starter. Bill Walden not only is, as you mentioned, a good time with first-time starters, it's 30% first-time Lasix. His last 8 races that he's been in here at Keeneland is 8, 4, 2, and 0. So 50%. The horse is working out. I think he's got a good post. 7 furlongs, always a tricky distance. But that's the only question I have is, coming out of Authentic, I think that gives him a little plus factor to handle 7 furlongs. But you make a good point about the 12 horse, Algadir. The opposite of a key race is what the 3 was in. So the 12, maybe something that we should look at. It's another horse, first time Lasix, obviously putting in some pretty serious workouts to get ready for this race again. It's been off since November. Okay, maybe that is a little bit of a time off concern. Not too bad, though, because he's been racing, working out, leading up to this race without really a whole lot of holes in the workout. So take your choice. John's got his opinion. I got mine. There you go. So we'll go on to race 9, John. Race 9. I really like a horse here. We'll talk about that in a minute. There are some big scratches in this race. John and I talked about that a little bit off the air. Lush Lips, who's killed us in the past. Am I right, John?
That is one of the horses that, I love Lush Lips. I think she's, wonderful. But every time I try to beat her, I think there's a scenario that she's going to lose. And I go all deep and waste all my bullets. And then she just rolls just like a single should. I mean, so if you singled her all this time, you're okay because she answers the call.
We're going to beat her today, John. We're going to beat her today.
We're beating her today. When I saw that scratch when you texted me, I'm like, whew, I don't have to worry because I was deep against her again, and I don't have to get beat by her now. So.
Well, even with the scratch of those horses, I kind of went deep. I went with the 1-3 because I think it's kind of wide open. I know the 10 may be tough to beat because now with those scratches, you only have 8 horses in the race. Certainly that gives a chance for the 10 to have a little better post position. I'm not really that worried about that position. He is a number 1 prime power, or she is the number 1 prime power, excuse me. But there's also a horse in here that I really like a lot, the number 3, Maduro. I think this horse could get a big shot. I think they're 2 races back. He put up a 97 Beyer speed figure. I don't think anybody in this race, now that those horses have scratched, other than the 5, have put up a triple Beyer speed figure, a triple-digit Beyer speed figure. So I got the 1, 3, 5, 9, 10. The one on the rail's been winning at 28% down there at Keeneland in these races at 1.16 mile on the turf. So another horse that's working out well for Brendan Walsh. The highest last rate speed rating according to Brisnet.com. Dynamic pricing, I'd rather tease on a horse for Chad Brown. It certainly has quality. Has been racing in some very big races, grade 1 races, all around the different tracks, Saratoga, Aqueduct, etc. This horse has a lot of class. I think 6-1 is a pretty generous price. My concern a little bit is what happened the last race. I don't really know. I didn't get to watch the replay, but those are the picks that I have in this race, John.
Who was the replay you didn't see? Which horse were you referring to? Maduro, the 3 or no?
No, the 5 dynamic pricing. The last time out, I mean, she did not. I don't know what happened. I don't know if
I just got so far back. Was my pick in that race. I remember that race. My pick had just never fired and never did nothing. So you got to just put a line through that race. They laid it up after that race and said, okay, let's take a break and come back, fresh. So yeah, my thought is, you could go many different ways here. You could almost use every one. And on my ticket, you see, I use everybody except the 2 and the 4. Expensive Queen just got really good. And the only race that she lost out of the 4 that are up there in the States, she popped the gate, busted her face up. She was bleeding. After the race was over, there was blood coming from her face. So she had to run with that uncomfortableness, the whole time.
Oh, God. Terrible. Yes.
So put a line through that one. Has such a turn of foot. If you watch those replays at Fairgrounds, just explosive. So you got to use her. Maduro is your top pick there. 60 cents on a dollar last time at the Fairgrounds against the 1 Expensive Queen. Maduro got in, all kind of trouble. Sat, waited, couldn't get through. And then when she got through, she came flying. But the race was over. Expensive Queen got the jump on her. Dynamic pricing, like you said, willing to put a line through that, and she's a grade 1 winner already. Crazy Bomb. Deep Satin. I'm going to throw that one in a little bit. Aussie Girl could be loose on the lead. I don't think she classes up, but she will be leading them a long way. And they don't know they're cheap once they hit the top of the stretch with a 2-length lead.
I definitely used that horse because of the speed factor. 118 early pace figure by U.S. Time Form is tops. No one's anywhere near 100 even in terms of early pace figure other than the 9 Aussie Girl and Ben Curtis, good jockey, underrated jockey. I think you're right. Other than the class factor, like you said, maybe the horse gets out front. Ben Curtis was on that horse the first time, last time out, so he knows the horse has speed, knows how to use the speed. Could be an interesting race to watch for sure. I mean, obviously there's a few less quality horses with the loss of Lush Lips and Destino d'Oro, but the 10 might be tough to beat, like you said, John. I mean, 10 certainly looks awful tough now with those 2 scratches and the kind of races that horse has been in, the kind of Beyer speed figures that horse has put up. So, going to be a fun race to watch, though.
Yep. I was getting to the 10 before you jumped in there. So, the 10 probably my pick now that I'm looking at the race. I went deep in the race, but on another ticket, our pick 6 ticket we're putting together for the double carryover, that might be somebody I lean on as a single down the road because I think she'll get the perfect trip, sitting second behind the 9, takes away Lush Lips from being on the inside of her, maybe, keeping her out. So this one should get the perfect trip, and the 1 should get a nice trip, saving all the ground. But I don't think the 1 is really this grade 1 level, where the 10 is a proven grade 1 horse. All the rest in here are more grade, 3, grade 2, other than the winning 5 horse who won a grade 1. So I would lean 10, but I would go as deep as you can in case, there'll be surprises in here.
In case there's surprises or chaos.
Yeah, we need chaos on that. But I might be cheering for the 10, depending on how my ticket structure is. If I'm alive in the pick 6, then I might lean on the 10 and need her to win for me as, one of the favorites.
Yeah, let me know, John. Let me know while I'm watching golf balls flying in the air at the Hybos. I need a little action on the side.
All right.
So number 10, race 10, the Lexington, a Derby qualifier with 20 points available to the winner. I don't think it's going to matter whoever wins the race. I love a horse in this race. I was thinking about singling the horse to number 3, Decisive Win. Just didn't. It's a maiden, but coming from Santa Anita with Antonio Fresu's only mount, Doug O'Neill. The horse showed some speed at 6.5 furlongs, stretching out of Nyquist. I don't think that's a problem. I think the horse can get the distance. I really like that horse a lot. And having Antonio Fresu come to Keeneland for an only mount for Doug O'Neill, I think that's a big tell to me right there. And 15-1 and 132 Bayer or U.S. time form pace figure. 132, 115, 118 is pretty good. 120 is good. 132 is really good. And I think that's why they brought Antonio Fresu in here. How the horse ended up being 15-1, I don't know. The 10-horse Confessional is the number 1 prime power. Brad Cox has two horses in here, the number 9 and the number 10. I use the 9 instead of the 10. I like Fravian Platt. The horse is the number 5 prime power versus number 1 prime power. So if you take a look at the Brisnett's ratings of horses, you should think more about the 10. So I may alter my ticket a little bit, John. I'm looking forward to hearing what you say about this race with the picks that you made.
Yeah, I was actually on one structured ticket. I was just 1-7 deep. I was only the 1 and the 7. I was going to toss the 9 and the 10, the 2 big favorites. But then I'm against the 9. I think he's dressed up on that Colonial 1-turn mile. He really
right. 19 lengths he went by. It's nuts.
Absolutely faced 0 in that field. So I think he could bounce off of that. Plus, I think he's dressed up. That Colonial form is not going to translate to Keeneland grade 3 form. So he's got to prove it to me. And maybe if he won, I wouldn't be surprised. But he's another one that I'm going to try to beat like, a couple last week. Confessional, he's a favorite, but man alive, he just doesn't really do it for me. And he might run 2nd or 3rd again like he always does. And, he hasn't really took that step forward as a 3-year-old this year. So with Irad Ortiz jumping on, it's the 5th different jockey he's had. He's ran with, better horses. He's definitely got that. But, to lean on him, I think the 7, he's improving here, which, for Todd Fincher. So he's getting better and better. All 3 starts, his buyers keep going up, and he can take a step forward. Second, off the freshening, coming in from, the Midwest out there with Sunland and Zia and Remington. Todd Fincher's a good horseman. He's not going to bring it here if he didn't really, think the horse fit. Luis Saez jumps on. So the 7 will be my top pick. And the 1 on the rail, I think, could work out a good trip. Doesn't need the lead. If he's forced to go to the lead, that's going to be a problem. I hope he just sits a nice pocket trip and then comes with the 7, somewhere. Your 3 would be another one that I would consider, but I just didn't have no room on my ticket because I was too deep, 1 and 7, and I found room to add the 10 in there, just trying to avoid the 9. So, fun edition of Lexington.
Yeah, and a couple comments. The 10 is the only horse that has already won at Keeneland, broke his maiden at Keeneland. First time out with a big field. There was a field of 11. Horse was in the 10 hole, ran up and stayed with the front runners until the stretch, and then ran by everybody. Won by 3 and was 12-1 at that time. Bet at 12-1. Worked out at Churchill Downs. So last couple workouts, pretty nice workouts, getting ready for this race. the 10 might be a little better than we both think. I think the 10 might have a chance here with Irad getting back on board. Irad was also on board for the horses. His last good race came in second again. Like you said, maybe he's going to come in second again. The other thing I want to mention about this is one of the horses that we talked about, we kind of laughed about. I did out of a dam by, I think I saw Putty Cat. I think we talked about that horse a couple times. 11, didn't use him on my ticket, but funny name there. I did out of a dam.
Yep. Wade, just brought that up. He goes, what about the 11? He goes, that's a wide open race. And he goes, the 11, has a shot. I said, oh, that's funny because that's one of our favorite names, which we talked about in the fall at Churchill when the horse ran. I picked him that day and he disappointed. But one of the most cleverly named, if not the most clever name I've ever heard, the mare, the mothers, I thought I saw a Putty Cat. And what's the response? I did. The cartoon. I could just picture the cartoon running around with that. So
that's a great name.
There.
That's a great name.
Yeah. So definitely another one with a shot that would not surprise me.
No, absolutely. But there was a horse out of Audible. They named it Omaha.
Oh yeah. For Peyton Manning.
There are some good names out there. Well, John, let's get to the 11th race and see what we got here. This race is a maiden special race being run at 1 mile and 16th on the turf. There's a big field in here of, I think, 12 horses. There was 2 scratches, so now you're down to a field of 10. John Hare, went with the 4, 6, and the 11. The 4 here's Johnny, ridden by Hot Jockey Castellano. This number 1 prime power has a little significance because it is +9, and that adds to like the winning percentage possibility going up to 55%. Also, 32% on EE chances to win. I think it went up. The strength of the races that this horse has been in compared to the other horses in this race, I think is amazing. I think most of the other horses have just broken their maiden. Sorry, not broken them in, it would be here. Just basically, this horse ran. Here's Johnny ran in a grade 2 and a grade 1 race already. I don't think he disgraced himself in those races, getting Lasix for the first time. I also like the 6. Again, Bill Walden, we mentioned him, how hot he is. This is one of your angles, John. Blinkers on. Look at the workouts that this horse has been putting up. Maybe they put the blinkers on, and that's why the horse is putting in such good workouts out of Twirl and Candy. I think that horse has a big shot. So the last horses, again, I've done this so many times. I'm not doing it this time. When there's only one first-time starter in a race, I'm going to use that first-time starter because you don't know whether he's good or whether he's bad. You don't know anything. If there's 4 or 5 first-time starters, you got to sort of do some research a little bit deeper. I mean, the horse certainly looks like it could win. It's got now is a little bit less further out because of the 2 scratches. Pratt's on him for Chad Brown. One of the stats that's pretty interesting is first time or running greater than a mile, he hits at 21%. So this horse has, got a chance. And again, it's a first timer running 1 mile and 16th on turf. So they're my horses, John, 4, 6, 11.
Yeah, the 11 is for sure. You'll know the way the board is, but it's going to be too late for pick 5 purposes. But the late double, you'll be able to see if the horse is live or not. If he gets bet into the 4 and the 6 here, then he's pretty live. But it's Pratt, it's Brown, it's Judmont, homebred there. But the one stat, like you were saying about the turf, but Chad Brown at 8.5 furlongs or more, not a mile, but a mile and 16th or more, first time starter, the last 8 months for Chad, 1 for 24.
Wow.
So that's a stat. And I'm gonna probably try to beat him and hope that he's not as live. A crazy one, I think the 8 coming in from Turf White Park. He has a look a little bit as a crazy underneath horse. But my 2 picks, the 4 and the 6. The 4, like you said, the class that he ran, he did not disgrace himself once yet. I mean, at Breeders' Cup, he was closing in there, and finished 5th to Gastad. And, final score beat him twice. And Botas. And, now he's back in the maiden ranks, which would almost make him like a slam dunk here, with those speed figures coming out of those graded races back into a maiden. But the 6 horse, everybody loves the 6. Will Walden, the blinkers, I have that circled, like you said there, Fred. Look at that workout with the blinkers on in the morning. He was 20-1 in his first start at Gulfstream. And everybody's saying like it's the roughest trip. Oh my God, he's steady. I watched the video and he did get in some trouble and all, but it was weird because he was like 12th, then he moved up to 9th, then he dropped back to 11th, then he finished, when he got free, he closed, but he didn't fly home like a lot of these people are saying.
Really?
Oh my God, he flew home once he got out. He got out and he made his way. He missed by a length and a half. He did close nicely. It was an educational trip for a first time starter.
Sure. Right.
20-1. So yeah, people are going to lean on him. He might be the favorite here because the trip handicappers love him. Blinkers on, which is why I would like him. So I would just normally be 4-6. But I'm going to try to get by with a single of the 4, hoping that here's Johnny, the class, prevails. They always liked this horse, right from the beginning. That's why they ran it in those stake races. I know Ray Handel and the team have always, thought this horse was good. So basically it shows that in grade 2s and grade 3s, he's missing by, a neck. So this will be easier pickings. Got to avoid the Chad Firster and the West End Kid if that trip was more troubled than I made it out to be.
Sure.
So
Well,
I'll single the 4, but in my contest, I'm going to be 4-6, 6-4. Watch the board on the 11.
John, that's good advice. And again, that's the value of watching a replay. The comments offer some insight, but to actually see it visually yourself, that's pretty big. All right, John. So any final words, any thoughts regarding this late pick 5 at Keeneland? We wish you good luck, first of all. Good luck today in the contest to you and Wadey. I hope you guys both do well. Any final thoughts, John?
No, just got to hope with, like I told Wadey, the whole thing is pulling the trigger at the right time, taking a stand and making your big bet at the right time.
Sure.
You don't want to like baby it where you're going to like wait. And then you get to the last 3 races and you got to make $300-$400 bets in order to qualify. Now the odds are not what you expected them to be. Now you're running out of a racetrack where, you're thinking your double is going to pay $10, but it's paying $5. Now you don't have enough money to make a move in the contest. So you switch your mind. So you just got to have the stones to let it flow in the beginning of the card. And if you're not doing good and you go broke early, you went down on your best opinion. So
well, that's the whole idea is you go down on your best opinion. The worst feeling is, oh, I should have had that horse. I knew I loved that horse. I didn't bet him. That's the worst feeling a handicapper can have. So if you have a good opinion, go with it, live with it, and die with it. Die. That's the mountain that you wanted to climb and get on the top or come back down. Either way. But on that note, John, I'm going to go probably stretch a little, see if I can get my swing going a little bit. Maybe I'll get some bullets for some races later on. We'll talk a little bit more tomorrow. Well, actually, John, tomorrow I am golfing. Our first week of the Hibernian Golf League starts tomorrow. And again, like I mentioned, I'm not going to call it a comeback, but I'm looking forward to getting out there tomorrow. And it's supposed to be a nice day again, so hopefully it is.
Yep, I'll try to grab Wadey for like a little recap show. Maybe we'll recap, the Keeneland races and how that panned out, how we did in the
hopefully when you recap that you guys won the contest. Yeah, that would be a really good recap.
Yep, that's what we're hoping for, and we'll discuss some like strategies that worked for us, some that we messed up or whatever. It'd be a good learning experience to pass it on of what we experienced today, good and bad.
I think it's a good idea because, again, you have a lot of experience and weighty in contest. And I think that's important to pass that on so our people watching the podcast can get some insight into the kind of things that happen in the contest and what your experience has been and what you saw that was good and something that could have been improved. Or, those kind of things are invaluable, John. So we appreciate that. And once again, we will be on tomorrow at 11. Monday and Wednesday, we'll have our Brisnet play of the day. We've been kind of up and down a little bit with that. Had some winners, but they didn't pay very much. Had a couple horses where the jockey fell off, and thankfully jockey and horse were okay. But that didn't turn out too good.
No.
But anyway, well, that's Monday and Wednesday at 2 p.m. And then, of course, next Friday, another happy hour show at 3 p.m. where we will again, certainly John and I will be on the show, and we hopefully we'll get another guest on. We'll continue to reach out to some of our contacts and see who we can get on. So, John, good luck to you, bud. I'll look forward to hearing from you later today. You and Wadey and thank you again, John. We'll talk later, bud.
All right. Sounds good, Fred. Have a fun day at the club.
Thank you. Let him run.
Let him run, everybody.